Don't try to get rid of your anxiety. Learn to work with it. Part two. Walk with me now. Last week, I was talking about how your anxiety is always under your control. The most important thing I want you to remember is that you should never be trying to get rid of your anxiety because we need anxiety. But we can't allow it to get to the fault where it becomes debilitating for us and makes us not act on things that we should be doing. So I want to give you guys some strategies in order to work with them. And in this video, I'm going to give you 5 strategies that you can use in order to help combat the feelings of anxiety you may feel in the moment. Now, 4 of these are going to be for moments that occur before the anxiety inducing situation. And then the 5th one will be a moment in which the anxiety creeps back in during the moment. So the first one is simply situation avoidance, which is what a lot of us tend to do from time to time. If we have something that's going to be anxiety inducing, we might just avoid it altogether. Like if you have a public speech, instead of doing the public speech, you may just say, you know what? I'm just going to skip it. I'm not going to do it. And you'll avoid it. So to avoid that anxiety inducing situation. Now, in the short term, obviously, these are great. They work out perfectly fine. But in the long term, if you're skipping out on things that are very important to you or very important for your progression, for your future, you can see how that might be a little bit of a double edged sword. I'm sorry, the light may be pretty bad because I'm walking by the lake right now. Maybe that shows a bad spot. But the second is going to be situation modification. An example of situation modification is, let's say you have a job interview, an in-person job interview. And job interviews are typically something that gives you a certain amount of anxiety towards, and it's something you necessarily don't feel as if you can do. A situation modification would be to switch the meeting over to Zoom. Similar to the first one, this may reduce your anxiety in the short term. Oh, there's a branch coming up. Oh, I did not want to get hit by that branch. Similar to the first one, this may reduce your anxiety in the short term, but in the long term, did the modification really do you justice? Now, third is going to be attention deployment. To give an example of attention deployment, would be a moment in which you're feeling anxiety, so you try to distract your mind with something else. This is something that a lot of us do all the time in terms of using our phones. We'll tend to use our phones to start to numb that feeling of anxiety and sort of take our minds off of it. As I've stated many times before, using your phone in these situations doesn't necessarily help the anxiety. It's not necessarily something that's bringing peace of mind and bringing you joy in that moment. So you want to find activities that can take your attention away from the anxiety inducing situation and also bring you a sense of joy and sense of peace. And this one, as opposed to the first two, can be a long-term answer, especially if you find an activity that you really enjoy. The fourth one, and the one that I'd recommend to most people because of the usefulness of it, is just cognitive change. And cognitive change is what I was starting to get at in the last video, in which you start to think of these situations differently. You start to think of these situations as opposed to ferocious beasts that you're going to have to conquer. Think of them as just a challenge, just a stepping stone, just something simple, Going back to kind of the job interview type of example that I was giving, don't think of the job interview as something as like someone's going to be hawking you down, someone's going to be all eyes on you and this you can't make a mistake. Think of it as an opportunity to show what you can do, what you're worth, and what you're able to provide for a certain place or whatever job you're applying to. Give those things a better look in your mind, I guess you can say, for lack of a better definition that I can't think of right now. Try to find a new way to think about the situation that you're in a part of. And then lastly, if all else fails, or if you use one of these techniques and you're still feeling some of that anxiety creeping in, we have the last step. Anything you can use to recenter yourself in the moment. If you start to feel anxiety during the interview or during the speech, take a minute, pause, control your breath, do things that will help you relax and calm down during the situation. Even if you have some sort of tick that you do whenever you get nervous, even those serve as things that can calm you down during those moments. Use those techniques, practice them, and start to become better with them and use them as much as you can during whatever anxiety inducing situations that may come across your path. Always remember, you can't get rid of your anxiety. Well, you shouldn't be trying to get rid of your anxiety, but you should be learning to work with it. Thank you for walking with me.
As much as I think I'm this beacon of health, sometimes this shit hit me deep and I really just think I should be by myself. Don't reach out to no one, I'm just in my head, wouldn't know that I needed some help. I think that it's better that some of these thoughts stay inside and I keep to myself. Wait, it's a lie if I say I don't care about nothing. Not really sure of the man I'm becoming, no issue with talking about